is a severe weather alert.
An emergency warning has recently been issued for a bushfire which is burning out of control in Victoria. Now, it is currently burning at Bunyip. We've seen a very hot day today across Victoria, and we've recently seen some storms moving through. Now, as a result, we have seen some dry lightning in the region, and some of those lightning strikes have now started up a fire at Bunyip National Park, and we are seeing that fire burning out of control at the moment, with crews and aircraft unable to stop the spread of that fire. So there is an emergency warning in place for the Bunyip fire, and it is travelling in a southerly direction at the moment and is currently posing a threat to lives and homes. Now, one of the closer weather stations is Viewbank in Victoria, and there we've recently had a wind gust of 24 kilometres per hour, but the temperature is still sitting at 32 or 33 degrees, I should say, and very low humidity at 25%. And as I mentioned, those lightning strikes moving through have started up a number of fires. Now, we will, of course, keep you updated, but there is a second emergency warning that remains in place across Western Australia in the Shire of Esperance, where we've recently had a wind gust there of 30 kilometres per hour. It's not quite as hot today over in the west. It's currently at 20 degrees, and the relative humidity is sitting at 57%, but this fire also was started by a lightning strike a little bit earlier on this morning. We will, of course, keep you updated on both these emergency warnings here at Sky News Weather, but to stay up to date with the latest details across the emergency situation in Western Australia, you can visit the DFES website, which is on your screen now. And in Victoria, to stay up to date with the latest details there, you can visit the Victorian Emergency website, which is emergency.vic.gov.au.
Well, it was our driest summer in 36 years for Australia, and it was a scorching start to autumn as well, with temperatures remaining above average for most parts of the country. And that heat will continue, particularly for southern Australia, heading into the weekend. We can expect some very hot temperatures around Adelaide, heading for a top of 40 degrees. Also warm for Melbourne, 36 the top there, and Hobart heading for a top of 37 degrees for your Saturday. But let's take a closer look at what is happening around the rest of the country. We can expect some isolated showers for the coastal region of Queensland there, heavier though in the northern tropics. Chance of showers also over the eastern districts, fine and mostly sunny for the remaining of the interior there. Into New South Wales, a shower or two is expected along the coastal regions and ranges as well. North of Batemans Bay, however, it will be dry and mostly sunny elsewhere. Very hot in the far west. Wagga Wagga can expect a top temperature of 34 degrees, 37 forecasts for Broken Hill there. Extremely hot for Victoria as well, thanks to those northerly winds. It'll be dry apart from an isolated afternoon thundery shower over the eastern ranges. There will be a milder southwesterly change though, reaching the southwest late on Saturday. And Tasmania, there's that high pressure system which will sit over the Tasman, so it will bring hot and sunny conditions with a gusty northerly as well. You can see those temperatures with Hobart heading for a forecast top of 37 degrees, so very warm there. Also hot in South Australia. An extreme heat wave warning has been issued for South Australia over the weekend, with northeast to northerly winds and possible thunderstorms, producing little or no rainfall though across the southern and western parts of the state. A mild southerly change though will extend over the west and south later on Saturday, which will cool those temperatures down slightly there. To WA now, while some showers and thunderstorms are expected over the Kimberley, Pilbara and also interior, some light showers possible near the eastern south coast there. And over to the top end, a slight to medium chance of showers and some gusty thunderstorms, hot though south of Elliot.
Well, the calendar may have clicked over to autumn, but we have seen no relief from the hot and dry conditions which parched the country through the summer. We're in the middle of a severe heat wave right now through the southern states. We're looking at maximum temperatures possibly up to 20 degrees above average for the start of the weekend. Hobart, just one location where we are in the middle of a severe heat wave right now. Melbourne also in a severe heat wave. That heat wave affects much of South Australia, Victoria and Tasmania. On Saturday, we'll be up to day 7 of the heat wave for some areas. A cool change will develop over the weekend just along the southern coastline. No cool change though spreading up to New South Wales and the ACT. So a low intensity heat wave will continue into those areas next week. Why is it so hot? It's a blocking high. It's sitting in the Tasman Sea. It's nearly stationary. Winds move anti-clockwise around highs, which means we're stuck in this hot northerly airstream. Now, there will be a cool change on the weekend along the southern coast, but it's a dry change. Note there is very little forecast precipitation, and we could see dry lightning. That could ignite fresh bushfires. So major fires are possible this weekend through southern Australia. A hot air mass indicated by the red shading. Until that front arrives, it will cool down slightly along the southern coastline, but a much stronger front will come through around the middle of next week. Take a look. The blue shading shows a polar air mass moving through, and as a result, will finally cool down through New South Wales, perhaps around Wednesday and Thursday, but for now, very hot. Now, for WA, the heat wave's over. You'd gone to a cooler southerly. We had a 10-day heat wave. We had maximums 45 every day this week in WA. We're still hot though on Saturday in a northerly, 40 degrees plus the dark red for South Australia. The rest of southeastern Australia generally over 35 apart from the east coast and ranges. Now here's the cool change. There it is, it's a southerly. It won't hit the west coast of South Australia until later on Saturday afternoon. Before it arrives, we're expecting fire weather warnings with severe to extreme fire dangers for the southern coastline, parts of Victoria and also Tasmania as the winds freshen up slightly. Let's track this cool change. It will reach Adelaide late on Saturday evening, but it's a very slow moving change. And that means Sunday will still be very hot through Tasmania, Victoria and New South Wales. The change won't reach Melbourne until late Sunday, perhaps in the evening, a southwesterly moving in, and then early Monday pushing through to eastern parts of Victoria, but then stalling, which means Monday is still hot, over 35, this darker orange, through the southeast inland. No relief for you further north from the Victorian border. Now, what's the outlook for autumn? This country is crying out for some cooler temperatures and some widespread rain. The Bureau have released their autumn outlook. This map shows the chance of exceeding the medium rainfall, so the average medium rainfall through the autumn months. Where you see the brown shading is where it's likely to be drier than normal, and that darker brown shows where the chance of above average rain is only about 10%. So exceptionally dry conditions with only a low risk of significant relief for the eastern half of the country through autumn, and temperatures are forecast to remain above average across the whole of the country. No surprise there. One of the reasons why it's so dry is the lack of the monsoon. What we're looking at here is the forecast rain over the weekend. Note the heavy falls indicated by the dark green north of Australia. That shows the position of the intertropical convergence zone. Often at this time of year, that's further south, and along that zone, you can see the monsoon trough developing. It's not going to happen over the next week, so even northern parts of the country, relatively dry for this time of year.
Wave is gripping southern and southeastern parts of the country at the moment as temperatures soar well above the average, with Saturday forecast to be another scorcher of a day, but there is some relief on the way. Sky News reporter Stacey Lee has more details.
It's been a scorching start to autumn, which follows a record-breaking summer.
The hottest summer on record, in fact.
South Australia's seen a 6-day heat wave, so emergency services are on alert. The SES has issued an extreme heat warning, and hospitals are bracing for an influx of patients with heat-related illnesses, so elective surgeries have been cancelled. Residents in South Australia are being warned that while the cool change expected over the weekend will drop temperatures, it'll also bring dry winds and the potential for storms. That, combined with the dry vegetation left after summer, could be catastrophic.
The real danger is if you see these storms, it spark up even more fires, because we're not going to see the temperatures really drop off and any kind of significant rainfall until mid next week.
The heat is also affecting residents in Tasmania and Victoria. They're waiting for the cool change to bring a dramatic drop in temperatures.
There is a change coming through on Sunday, which will definitely drop temperatures right back into the 20s for places like Hobart and Melbourne.
Stacey Lee, Sky News.
A state of emergency has been declared in parts of California as torrential rain has triggered floods, wreaking havoc in over 5 counties.
Steve, it's about 8 or 9 feet maybe.
Parts of Northern California are underwater, with some areas seeing the worst flooding in 20 years. Some communities turning into virtual islands, with all roads leading into and out of the area covered by water. Thousands of people are displaced, and now the floodwaters are slow to recede.
We're working as quickly as possible to identify hazards, health and safety issues, and get the residents of Guerneville back into their homes and businesses.
As crews work to clear debris and rescue people who are stranded, the governor of California declared a state of emergency Thursday for 5 counties.
We very much appreciate the governor recognizing the gravity of the situation and acting swiftly to ensure that we get the resources we need to help our community get back on its feet.
And it's not just the flooding that's dangerous. The weather is also triggering mudslides and fallen power lines.
Oh, it's dicey. I mean, I was driving really slow because you don't know what's under that water, if the road's even there. It's still a really dangerous situation.
We know, living on the river, that this happens, but this is just still unbelievable.
Forecasts are calling for more rain for the rest of the week, though the rains will be lighter. Now residents are wondering what they'll find when the water does finally recede.
The big thing is when the water goes down, what's going to be left behind and what damage was there from all the water. That's going to be the big thing.
Just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. It's a love.